young Gaynor Lord has been found in a river in Norwich, England. What's next? And who's to blame? Can we use astrology to get clues as to what was happening at this moment, what Gaynor was doing, and who she was meeting, if anyone? Was this a random event? That's up next on Astrology and Crime. The planets in the sky and the zodiac signs reflect this event. 4:01 p.m. Gemini is the rising sign. She's talking to someone, which is what Gemini represents. Mercury at 6 degrees is someone who's talking about work potentially, since 6 degrees is Virgo, representing work. We can see who she's talking to by looking at the transits. Mercury trines Jupiter retrograde. And when Jupiter is in retrograde, there's a high probability that this is a partner that's not doing so well. This person might be sad or having money problems, represented by Taurus. Now we're live with me, Val Evans, with more on this mystery. And hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me on Mercury retrograde. It's December 18th, and Gaynor Lord was found yesterday. Her body was confirmed in the River Wensum in Norwich, England. And I'm just, it's shocking. It's shocking that this would happen for a second time in suspicious circumstances, just like Nicola Bulley. It's upsetting. It's around the holidays. It's just devastating for her family. I want to get to the bottom of this, and I know you do too. Police say that there's no suspicious third-party activity. I call bullshit on that because there's just too much in this chart to show us that it wasn't suspicious. And we've got some information from some of the locals that are coming in. Thank you so much for joining us, and really appreciate all of the input that you can give us today. So let's go over first to the first slide. And this is Gaynor. It's interesting, isn't it? Where she's actually watching, she's looking at the camera, and she's in a yellow sweater, which would represent Leo. Leo is yellow and represents a lot of things in her life. Maybe even some kind of king type of clues or bullying, perhaps. So that's always in the back of my mind when I see someone with the last name of Lord, because that's also a Leo name. So, yes, Sarah, it's pronounced Norwich. Thank you. And so, Claire Louise, Val, did you see the 404 CCTV footage of Gaynor walking down Baker Street and a big light car follows behind? I did not see that. Thank you for that. I believe she was being followed, and I believe she had information that she had just discovered that she was not supposed to have. And we're going to look at a few charts today, not only the crime chart, but I want to also look at Nicola Bulley's chart. And I want to look, I found the wedding date for Gaynor Lord. So we're going to look at the wedding chart to see who she married. I'd like to know, there's somebody in her life that I believe is very, very suspicious. And I'm hoping law enforcement goes through all of the necessary means to get to the answer. Now, obviously, they have, let's hope, fingers crossed, they've gone through all of the interviewing they need, which is perhaps going to her husband's place of work and doing interviews of all of the staff, even the ones that are on vacation and can't come back to the area. Well, tell them to come back. Find out what the rumors are, if there were any. And also, obviously, look at the digital trail. There's a lot to be discovered in this case. People don't just walk along the river and fall in. And in Nicola Bulley's case, somebody heard a scream, and then she fell in. So what I'm seeing from this chart, you see Aries here, and you also see Chiron in Aries, which can often show a blunt force to the head. So that's one possibility. Sometimes you can't always see that because someone the coroner might be looking at the neck or, other bruises on their body. But underneath the hair, looking a little bit further on the head is really important here. So, hello, Shauna. And let's see. Looks like a Galaxy type car. Interesting. So, let's see. Can you see something with sun as word in the chart? Okay. And where you're going with that is Leo is often showing a name where it's SON or SEN because Leo means sun. Often it will mean that, or you could get a name like king or queen or lord. So, very interesting that you mentioned that, and something that we're going to keep an eye out for. Often with bullies, we might see like Johnson. So Johnson might not even be a person, might just be the name of a road. So thank you, Christina. It looks like she's in a uniform. So okay. So FMG football, uh, Magda Mer, she only has 36 friends. I think you're saying that for Facebook, and yeah. What does that mean? Does that mean it's a new account, possibly? Or does it mean someone who maybe has tight control over her? I don't know. But I'm getting those vibes. I'm getting the vibes that this woman is encountering something she's trying to get away from. She might want to be more independent. I'd like to know from her friends and family if she felt controlled, what her demeanor was like when she was around certain close people in her life. So, all of those types of possibilities, I think, come up. And, you know, the police in the Nicola Bully case, they really started off poorly. They let Nicola, from what's reported, stay out in the river. Her deceased body was there for 12 days, from what I understand. And they ignored, and this is reportedly, a private citizen who had found her. So when you start off an investigation on that foot, you don't have a lot of confidence. But I'll say this: I would be in both regions, I would be very upset as a female because, we work every day, we pay taxes, we want to be protected. And you don't just walk down the street, uh, in the neighborhood, get whacked over the head, and then you just get a shrug from the police. Well, we did everything we could. Nope, you can do more. Now, sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes we think that they're not doing anything, and they're actually. And this was a recent news article that just came up today or yesterday, where police went undercover. So we wouldn't know if they went undercover to try to trap whoever did this. So okay, so Claire Louise, I heard Gaynor was from Lancashire. Um, so, yes, hi, Natalie A. Good to see you. We're talking about Gaynor Lord. She went missing on December 8th. There were a lot of similarities with Nicola Bully. And so I'm going to go over to the chart for when she was actually on the road. And this is one of the timestamps we got. And in forensic astrology, we always look at Gemini, which of course is the most important part of the crime chart, is the ascendant. That's it's going to tell us a lot. It's going to tell us a lot about the victim, what's around the victim, what the victim was doing. And in Gemini, that is a person that could be on the move, making a local trip, and it can also show the profile of a carbon copy of something else. Now, we have seen these in the cases of serial killers where there are multiple victims. What does the ascendant mean? It means a victim. But is that the case here? Or is it just the carbon copy of another crime that has gone unsolved that was earlier this year in January of 2023? All right. So this is 401. I think this is the last time. This photo of her is actually a little bit earlier, but she wound up near this park. And the last time we looked at this chart, before we knew what had happened, where she had gone, uh, we looked a little bit at where her planet is. It's Mercury. Now, Mercury is in Capricorn, which it is now, by the way, and it can show people are depressed. Capricorn is kind of like a depression in a way, and so especially when Mercury is going retrograde, like it is now in Capricorn, you have to just make sure you work really hard. Try to keep your mind off of things. It's only a couple more weeks. It also makes you think about the past because Capricorn is the past. Now, the other thing about it is that it could show someone who feels a bit like possibly things are sparse in her life. Maybe she's not getting what she needs out of life because of there's a frugal type of nature about this person, or she is in an environment that's very frugal. That's a possibility. But what we're looking at as far as the descendant here, which is the perpetrator, we are looking at Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is a road, and it's also traditionally it is a partner, okay, if it is Jupiter. Now, last time we saw that Jupiter is in retrograde and in the wealth sign in the 12th house of hidden enemies. So, my thought is this person, often a partner, is hidden away. There's some secrets here, something maybe that she doesn't know, she's getting to the bottom of. Now, a partner can be, a partner that you live with, could be a business partner, but in retrograde, it's somebody that's not thinking correctly. Now, what's so interesting here is that at this time, at 401, he, and I think it's a he, knows where she is. Now, it's possible they were just on the phone. And this is the blue line right here. That's an ease. That's um, he knows where she is. She could be talking to him. She could be on the phone with him. Mercury is a cell phone. And with this sextile to Venus, here's my problem. Now, Venus in Scorpio, if I were an investigator, first of all, there might be a female investigator that can solve this, who has a lot of power when it comes to digging and researching. She is the superstar here. That's number one. Number two, this is a possibility of a person at work, could be her work, could be somebody else's work. And this person, we see in her world there is the term wealth management. All right. And that is Scorpio. So what we want to do, this is the Kim Kardashian, clue. And why? Because we're looking at a female with very dark hair, like maybe black hair. There's someone in the mix. We don't know what she's doing, but apparently, this person that's in the 12th house, that hidden enemy, because the 12th house is the victim's hidden enemy. You look at that red line, boom. This person is at odds. This partner's at odds with this female. Doesn't want her to do something. I'm not sure what. Does not want her potentially talking to the victim, which is Mercury. Mercury is to speak. So I think this is a problem here. This is speaking is part of what's happening. It is the downfall in a sense. So we've got that, we've got this point of Thales. This is an ease between this person. This is a person. This is a person who potentially does have money because of Venus. All right. So, and obviously the victim knows this person. And here's the good news. All right. Did you guys see this? Did you see how Point of Fortune is squaring this hidden in, well, I'm going to put them both together, squaring Uranus. So there's a possibility that this person, even though it's really Uranus, but I put them together because they're next to each other, may not have success. Often, when you see Jupiter retrograde, and you saw this in the Scott Peterson case, not that I'm saying that this is anything close to this, and of course, this is my opinion only. You're going to see when somebody does jail time, when somebody gets caught, they will be put in the 12th house. So I think it's possible that perhaps this person, whoever this is under surveillance and nobody knows it. So let's hold back on keeping our criticisms out in the open for law enforcement. So okay, that's good to know, FMG. Now, yes, and the moon. Shauna says, wow, carbon copy of a previous crime of that year. That's really great information. Teaching ascendant providing that information. Yes. Okay. So, not the realist, or Nat the realist. In the one video of her walking behind the cathedral, she walks past a man. Once she passes by, he gets out a walkie talkie and uses it. I did not know that. That is very interesting. So, she is clearly being followed, and she could potentially be followed in a car. Now, Mud Fossil, did the friend ring back after the pocket call? I don't think so. Say, let's see, says FMG, best way to get more information on Gaynor Lord would be the electoral register if she is on there. Good to know. And so Christina, her transportation to from the home was never mentioned. Bus, train, car, good information. I believe she lives in that neighborhood. She lives close to where she works. So that's a possibility where she just walked or took the bus. Now, but if anyone knows that, let us know. But this is a very familiar territory for both Gaynor Lord and her husband. So, not sure one of her friends was 100% from the same place as Bully's parents. Strangely, that person was a mutual friend with me. Interesting. And we were talking last time about how Bull comes up. I believe Gaynor worked at Bullard's, at the department store, and then also with Nicola Bully. So there's a Taurus clue here. And what is Taurus? Taurus is money, and often a big, big motive when someone wants to gain independence or when someone might discover maybe money that they shouldn't have in private accounts. That's always a possibility. Okay, so Claire Louise Davies. Val, do you see anything about a boat on the chart? That's interesting. Let's take a look. Okay. And thank you for, like I said, following along on Mercury retrograde. We always have to look at these charts one more time afterwards. You'll see just strange things happen. The last time, I think every time I wanted to say opposition, I said square. Every time I said a square, it was an opposition. So it's kind of crazy like that. And that's kind of like Libra too. I'm a Libra ascendant, so it's sort of like whoops. But hopefully I'll get it right this time. And so we want to make sure that we take a look at this chart before we come out, blazing with our opinions, and make sure. I always hate looking for a fugitive or doing something during Mercury retrograde. Now, the positive side of that is that Mercury is, the ancients anyway, consider Mercury the trickster. So if you are starting something, the trickster is going to come and get you and try to mess it up for you. And it certainly did that for for Gaynor, but it's also going to do that for the person who is potentially attacking her. Anything that you are starting is not going to go the way that you thought. You're not going to think correctly. You're not going to have all of the details the way you thought you were going to have them. So that gives us some hope there, I think. Now, let's see. So we're looking at a boat. And I talked about the elevated planet last time. Now, most of the time, elevated planets, they're going to be near the MC because that's the top of the chart. But I'm going to look at all the planets on the top of the chart. And Neptune is at the very top. Now, what is this going to represent in this crime? It's going to represent a scandal. It's also going to represent potentially a scam. Somebody is scamming someone. And with Pluto there, this is a big one. It's a big scam and could be somewhat of an international scandal, which because we're talking about it in America, that's already coming true. So, Neptune is very important and potentially could uh, have something to do with a boat. Now, Sagittarius is a boat. Mars is metal and um, often shows like a motor on a boat. So if you notice, and I mean, I haven't seen a boat before you mentioned it. So I'm going to have to talk this through here. But we've got a grand trine here. Oops. All right, you see this triangle here, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Okay. All right. Oh, Wanda's here. Hi, Wanda. Okay, so we've got a big grand trine. Hopefully, you can see this. And I'm going to try that triangle one more time. And what's at the top? That is tattoos, wounds, blood. Okay. And part of fortune is down here right on the fourth house. This is a big clue. Why? Because it's on one of the cusps, and we've got, major angles would be the ascendant, the IC, the descendant, and the MC. So we have got point of fortune right there. It looks like there's something that is very successful, but it's on 15 degrees of Leo, which is the worst point in the zodiac. Often is shown with homicides. So we've got some very, very, very successful men here. This is a man. This is a boss. This could be two people. Sometimes when you see two planets next to each other, it's two people. Sagittarius, sometimes it can mean Americans, sometimes it can mean international people. So there's something going on here. If this is Gaynor here on the ascendant, and this is her here, well, these guys are in her 12th house. So she's got two 12th houses basically in this chart. She's got the 12th house we could see here, but the house before the seventh, all right, if she's here, 12th house, hidden enemies. This absolutely could be a boat. Now, um, I mean, I don't think there's any boats going down that particular side of the river, so we could probably count that out. But let's count the houses from these hidden enemies, all right, and let's see what Chiron means. So we're going to go to the sixth house. We'll start at the sixth. You start at the house where these hidden enemies are, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this has something to do potentially with something that has to do with their work. In the sixth house also is a stalker house. And this could be weapons. So the not to say that all of this has to do. I mean, it sounds so intriguing, and this is a mom. I mean, it sounds like a movie here. I do believe that this might give us a profile of who these people are. So I said American with Sagittarius, but it can also just mean larger men or a larger man. And it can also show an international. Why is it international and America? Because the US is the melting pot. It's known for being international. So it's kind of like the symbol for Sagittarius. Okay, so this is the big clue here, which is that triangle. And, they're very, very successful. But here's the good part. And I hope I'm not giving away anything here, but it looks like that big triangle is going to be interrupted. Why? Because we've got Uranus back here. This is like a lightning bolt and it disrupts this triangle. It's at 20 degrees. That could be investigation. This could be money. There's some kind of there's a financial disruption that's going to happen for them somehow. And maybe money will be cut off during the investigation. I don't know. I mean, that would be an example of what might happen. So I always like to look at Black Moon Lilith. And Black Moon Lilith is in the fourth house. It's at the seventh degree of partners and partnerships again. So don't like to see that at all. And but yeah, Neptune really shows that this is going to be a big scandal. And there's also a quincunx with the moon. Now the moon, it rules the second house of finances. All right. This is money that's being let go. It's being purged. It's money that is it makes me think that she discovered something where money, something that was financial related, because this is obvious that financial assets were being lost somehow. This little horseshoe, that's what's being lost. And the moon represents money. So this is a money loss. Very financial. Also with Scorpio, that can be it's inheritances, it's banking, it's wealth management. And then you've got Venus in wealth management too. So that's money. And this person cannot get to that money. So this is the main problem. It's very financial. Potentially, this is my opinion, of course. So, so what do you guys think? I'm going to move on, and I'm going to come back to the comments in a second. But this is going to be, you have to be really careful. The last thing you want to do is point fingers at people who are innocent. But I think what we're saying here is we we believe everyone until they are proven guilty, but we have questions. So the questions are, if somebody did know her, I don't know if she knew her attacker. I don't, but I believe that somebody that she knows is behind the attack. And I wanted to look up something real quick. Hold on one second. I wanted to see, I mean, do you guys think it could be like a hitman or something like that? I was going to look up Sammy the Bull Gravano and just look at his birth chart because he's a famous hitman. Let's see what we got here. I should have looked it up before I even came on. Oh, I don't even think they have it on here. Maybe that's my assignment for the next time. I've got, let's see. I mean, we've got March 12th. Oh, this is one of those charts that is not fun to read. I'm going to share it with you. This is Harmonic Life. And this is an American gangster. Okay, let me see if I can figure this out. We've got the sun, moon. Okay, Libra, Scorpio. Hmm, nothing in Scorpio. That's strange. Got a lot of Virgo. I mean, if this is correct, okay. So the second house is in Scorpio. All right, that would be a hitman. That would also be, I believe, Venus in Scorpio, and that's what I was trying to look up here. We also have a cluster here in Aquarius, and then we've got. I'm going to have to. This is kind of hard to figure out here. Um, But yeah, you're going to also see some Neptune too, which is so strong in this chart, which is kind of like it's just so much deception. So, okay. Oh, you probably didn't even see that. Did you guys see that? Sorry about that. I knew something was going to, I knew the trickster was going to get me. Um, okay. Yeah, maybe she said she saw something and told it to the police. Christina, is it a hitman or was she taken into protective custody? That's interesting. Claire Louise, I only ask about the boat because there is a possibility that on the cathedral, Gaynor was near to where River has boats on it. It looked like she may have come down that road. Okay. Um, let's see here. Yeah, I know. It does sound like a spy movie. I mean, the way that we're looking at this chart. So, Heather, Black Moon Lilith could be a woman fixer, making things seem as though they look right. I was thinking that as well. Um, so, Christina, why didn't hubby address the press? Well, because it is reported that he's lost, he's shaken. Um, usually when somebody is horrified about their, I mean, basically they hadn't been married that long. Uh, I mean, you would come out and ask the public and talk to them, but there is a fear sometimes. There is a fear to come out in public. So, why was she running? I think she was running because she needed to be home, and she may have found out the information because remember, she was kind of just she got off work early. She didn't look too much like she had a mission. Uh, yeah, she was walking as if she had a mission, but she was kind of walking casually. And then she was hurrying up once I believe she got the information that she needed to get. So, Sarah, yeah, I thought that too. Now, it is a gin store in a department store. So, in this crime chart, you're going to see a lot of things around her potentially that that have to do with alcohol. Neptune would be at the top of the chart showing alcohol, sextile Pluto. Pluto is lots and lots. And I'll show you that. So this is lots and lots of alcohol. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting that Neptune is 5 from her. So that can be a cover up of the 5th house. Okay, so I'm not going to say it because I might get myself in trouble. Now, and that's what I do. I look at the Lord of the house, and I'm going to treat the 7th house. Usually, I wouldn't with the victim if they're not in the 7th house. Usually, I would treat the 7th house as the first house of the perpetrator, which we can still do. But the first house of the perpetrator can also be the first house of the victim. So we can see that the second house is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is up there in the 10th house, which means that this has to do with money. It has to do, well, all right, let me backtrack here. If this is the perpetrator. And it's confusing because I mean, the perpetrator would be the attacker. It wouldn't necessarily be the mastermind, right? So you kind of have to think of if there are two different parties. And remember, law enforcement says they don't believe there's any third party to this. So we have to keep that in mind. But we've got, it makes me think that there's more than one victim that's involved with this. Why? Because she's Mercury, which means more than one or a group. So we've got seventh house is the first house. So what is on the perpetrator's mind according to this chart? So we'd go to the third house, which would be the ninth house from the seventh, or the third house from the seventh, sorry, meaning the ninth house. And that is ruled by Saturn. Um, Pluto's in there. Saturn can mean Saturn is in the 10th. So this person is thinking about her career, something that has to do with her work. And it has to do with, I mean, the sixth house here. This is money. This has something to do with her work. Now, I don't want to say, but you know that Neptune means that big country where they have very exotic accents. You know, that one? That's big country up there. And it's a possibility. Pochimu, you know what I mean? So possible here. This is big. Does she have a bunch of Russians running after her for something? I don't know. Could just be a product. You know, Russian vodka. I don't know. But you know, we've got to talk through this. Why? Because we're astro sleuths. We're not any different than anybody else trying to figure out what the hell happened. And this was not someone who committed suicide. All right. All right. So I'm going to go to some of the comments real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, it's scary. Did the friend girl that she called work with her? I don't think so. And okay. Hello, Shelley. Merry Christmas. Good to see you on. So, Sarah, you've got Neptune at the top of your chart. Yikes. Well, sometimes that can be good. With Neptune in the 10th, you can have a dream career. It's just, it seems too good to be true. And I say a lot of times when I'm doing someone's chart to enjoy it while you can. But just try to stay grounded. Sometimes it means a therapist, and sometimes it means somebody who works in a hospital. So there's a possibility that this could be the case with her chart too. Is there a doctor involved? Is there you know, there's a bunch of Neptunian possibilities. So you know, in some charts you're going to see like Bernie Madoff. You'll see he's a fraud. But then other charts you'll see that you know, they're very um, very talented with paint. You know, there's not every Picasso is a fraud, you know, so it's going to depend on what's going on in the chart. And this actually looks like it could be something financial, a financial fraud of some sort that she potentially saw. And now remember that Scorpio is investments and it's real estate. I always look at Scorpio and I say it a couple of times during my shows. It's the Kardashian sign. So is Pisces, but for the most part, it's Scorpio. And there's going to be a woman that has dark hair, like I said, might be a very jealous woman because of Scorpio there, or I'm sorry, with Pluto there. So let's take a look at what we would, you know, where we would see the witnesses. All right, that's going to be also Mercury. So let's take a look at that. Could she be a witness? Could she have seen something? Um, could she have seen where there was hidden money somewhere? All she's trying to do is make a little extra money for Christmas. And something like this can happen. Yes, Neptune at the top of your chart mean that the person is a graphic artist. Absolutely. They're very creative. And Toy says, did they catch the perp? Oh, for the other woman. I don't know which one you guys are talking about. Sarah's saying, you're in Essex, been to Norwich a couple of times. What are the chances two ladies found in rivers this year? Just weird. We are looking at that because of, I think, Venus and Scorpio. I think there's revenge against women in a sense. And then also, I think that, Mercury is in Capricorn and it can show people's mind is on the past. It can show, you know, they want something to stop, something that they're thinking about. I really think that I think she might have been, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at her before I say that. Let's look at her wedding chart. All right. And 435, I looked at that chart too, which we can talk about. We're going to look at Nicola in a second. But this is what I saw on Facebook, November 17th, 2012. All right. I It's weird. I don't see Clive in her friends. And I know one of you mentioned that she's got 36 friends. So, you know, she says she's married. Uh, but it's November 17th. Okay, so here's where her wedding chart is. All right. Now, the way that I read a wedding chart is I look at the ascendant. That's going to be the groom. Okay. And so we're going to look at 4 planets. Why 4 planets? Because we have the traditional planets where Jupiter's always going to mean the husband. Okay. And Venus is always going to mean the bride. And it's nice when you see Venus in Libra because it means the bride is a beauty. She's beautiful. Um, she's just, I don't want to say too many nice things about Libra because there's something nice about every sign, but it does show that this woman is relationship oriented, which is Libra. Okay, but we also have the charts rulers. The ascendant is the husband, so we're going to look at the moon. Moon is in Capricorn. Can mean that the groom might be a little frugal, and can also show that. Let's see. This is fittingly enough. Saturn rules the bride. Okay, she's going to be in the 7th house. All right. So, and Saturn is in Scorpio. So, and you guys can double check me. I drew this chart during Mercury retrograde, so I hope I got it right. Here's what I always look for in charts when there's a stellium here of planets. What does that mean? Well, I just fuse them all together because it's a ton of energy. And do you know my favorite planet to look out for in a crime chart? It is Black Moon Lilith. Often it can show somebody who, like with Marilyn Monroe or female figures, it can show somebody who's very sexy or someone who people find very lusty or very attractive. Okay. And so, but at the same time, with crime charts, it can show that, there's a possibility there could be something sus in the background. Possibility and not my opinion because that's true for crime charts. So we're looking at Gemini, all right, which is The groom might simply have someone in his life that looks just like him. Could be a cousin, could be a brother, but there's definitely like he's part of a twin type of energy. All right. Now, the problem here's the problem. Jupiter squares Neptune. And oftentimes that shows that they disappear. They are not available. Now, the ninth house is the press. It's people wanting to know information. And he is just, it would show he's just not available for that, which would happen later on. But the biggest thing, and I say biggest right now, what I'm seeing the biggest thing is that I want to look at the success of the chart. I want to see part of fortune and what's going on, and it is conjunct number one, the South Node, which means the success is sacrificed for something. South Node is sacrifice. It means to purge. And what degree is it on? It is 1 degree before Algol, which is somebody that loses their head. That's in the 11th house. Could be the hopes and dreams, could be the network of this couple. And so this is a big clue. And to really fully look at the profile of that, we would look at the Lord of the 11th house, which is Mars. And Mars is in the 6th house of hidden enemies. And it looks like, oof, it looks like there's somebody who is very, very angry here and strikes in public 10th house. Okay. Um, hmm. Now, there's a connection with the groom, but it doesn't look like they get along very well. Um, Now, the 11th house could also be social media too. Lots of people on social media potentially would just be shocked at what's going to happen with this couple. So, yes, it definitely is. So, 0 degree Scorpio, thank you. Nicola Vet found deceased in tub. I did not know that. So, friend Julie, who cut her off, was hairdresser. Oh, that's so interesting. Yes, and Heather, Sun, Mercury, and the nodes. And okay. Yes, Shelley, Neptune, body in the water. Absolutely. That's what we were looking at the other day when we were trying to find her. And Toy is saying, what about the chart for when they found her for clues? We can look at that. I didn't cue that up. Morgan says, I hope there are no more. Manchester likely had a pusher a few years back. So, all right. So I think I'm caught up here. Oh, this is interesting. The vet name is Yulina Sasak. Is that Russian? I don't know. I think we might see some Russians in this picture, but let's. All right, so let me look at the biggest, most glaring thing in this chart. Not just that we've got Algol here, all right, in the 11th house. We've got a T square on our hands here in this chart. We've got Neptune, and that's the cause. All right. The cause is Neptune in the 9th house. That can be something long distance. It is ruled by Aquarius. So that could be something online secrets. Okay. And where's the bride? Well, the bride's here. But the downfall here, it looks like, oh my God, look at this. Like, this is a whole stellium here of Scorpio. Well, we know that the bride or the groom, I mean, he simply works in wealth management. So that's, of course, Scorpio. Um, Now, what happened. Interesting that this would all happen, uh, her, her being attacked, I think, during Mercury retrograde, and they got married during Mercury retrograde. So we've got the fifth house. Their family is destroyed by this, no doubt, and lots and lots and lots of tragedy here. But the North Node shows deception. It shows hmm, it shows a lie. Somebody's lying here. So what we would do is we would go to the Sun and Mercury and see what we see. I mean, maybe we can find something here. So who is lying? We've got North Node partile, meaning the same degree as the Sun. So both at 25 degrees in the fifth house. All right. So we've got the Sun. Look at that. Rules the second house. So there's definitely financial deception from a chart that we would see like this. Also the third house. So we're talking the second and the third house is something is deceiving. Now the third house would be as a couple, if this is your wedding chart, the third house is going to show what you might be interested in talking about during your marriage. And it's going to be Leo things. So it could be anywhere from being athletic to, cats, because Leo is a cat. It can be hair or hairdressing. Not that couples talk about that, but restaurants, clubs, bars, places to have fun. So it's possible that this couple, when they talk, they like talking about having fun. But with the Sun in the fifth house, and then Mercury's right next to it. Well, Mercury is always very close by to the Sun, but we've got 3 planets partile. So now Mercury is also at 26 too, since it's retrograde. So 25 and 26. This is a big lie. Something is very, very deceptive here. I mean, could Neptune be insurance? Could it be insurance? Ninth house? I don't know. I don't know what that is. So we've got the stellium here. We've got the Scorpio stellium here. So what have we talked about today? We've talked about Gaynor potentially knowing something, knowing a secret, trying to get information about it. Financial is a big one here. And in their chart to get married, what's the axis of financial? It's all right here. It's all Taurus and it's Scorpio. So this is a really big clue, I think. Now, interesting how Uranus is in the 10th house of career, that there would be a big interruption in their career. Now, this is going to happen since 2012. Like there might have been interruptions well before this ever happened. But in Aries, I don't know, but I will say this, the MC is their career collectively, okay? How people see them from from the outside, and Pisces is working in a gin shop. So that's a possibility, but it also represents something he's doing too. So keep that in mind, Pisces, and the ruler is Neptune. So we are talking about something pretty serious here. And let's take a look at this. Look at this, the North Node, and we've got a mini grand trine. We've got Neptune octiling Pluto and Mars, octiling Saturn, which is the bride. She knows something. Look at this. She knows something. She knows secrets. And if this is the bride's first house, second, like, well, I mean, look at what rules her second house would be the groom, meaning that a lot of the money would come from the husband. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but that's what this chart would look like or would represent. One, two, three, four. This is the fifth house for her. One, two, three, four. Hmm. We've got a lot of Leo. We've got fifth house, Leo, restaurants, power, and bosses. So I think we got some clues here. But I hope that these the leads that law enforcement have right now are being run down. I really do. So, yeah, I know. Thank you, Star Sleuth. Hello, BD. Am I allowed to say your BD? I love when BD comes on. She is a great mentor to all of us. So, and just strange. Yeah, I mean, she's got a ton of financial advisors in her life because her husband works at a wealth management company. Okay, so I can't imagine. She looks like a really nice person. She doesn't look like she's gonna. And this is just coming from like um, an uninformed impression from another country. Okay. So keep that in mind. But she doesn't look like she's a troublemaker. She's been married a long time. She's a responsible mom. She really looks like she's the type of person who is going to be a loving wife and mother. Now, oh, I didn't know that. They did run a business together. How about that? So Heather says, I really felt that on the very first chart, things not being as they seem, faked happiness in all those houses having one Lord. Interesting. So Trisha, I'm just sorry I'm going backwards. So good to see you on today. There are two wedding dates on Gaynor's Facebook, and Clive Lord said married 1998. Gaynor has March 98 on her profile as well as the 2012 date. Ah, very interesting. Okay. So, in these cases, you could probably use both charts. So I'm going to stand by the 2012 chart. But yeah, that's possible that maybe they renewed their vows. Okay. Thank you, Claire. So we're going to see these. This- Good. Say hello to everybody. This is BD Salerno, and she's Star Sleuth on here. And yeah, you saw that BD on the Idaho chart because we saw Scorpio there, and she thinks, or you think, that there could be potential money laundering, maybe having to do with drugs. We don't know. Um, it's just we've put out quite a few different motives, so hopefully people aren't going to be running after us for our opinions. And that's all this is just an opinion. But I mean, look at this bridal chart. I mean, it doesn't look good at all. And also very interesting is I always like to take a look at where the moon is and what it's placed next to. Look at this, next to Pluto. This is going to show a lot of fame. All right. And what does this mean? It's trining the devil, the famous devil. Hmm. The famous successful devil in that has to do with money. Oh, I do not think for one second that the person who planned this is going to get away with it. You just, local law enforcement, keep going. Scotland Yard or whoever's over there, you are going to catch yourself. Somebody who's involved with this, who had it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good as far as her personal relationships. Um, let's see what else. Like that opposition is just so ugly, isn't it? It's a fight. It's a fight between um, other people's money. Mercury is other people's money. Retrograde is a weak. This is almost like family wealth. Okay. I mean, if she's working in a gin shop, I'm sure that, she maybe she has an inheritance. It seems like somebody has an inheritance. Let's just say that. And Mercury represents the 12th house and the fourth house. So it's possible maybe there's some kind of real estate there. But it also looks like the hidden enemy of this chart is right there in the fifth house. So that can mean other people's money, um, jealousy. Yeah, the moon and Pluto, super famous. So I think that's now coming out for this chart, the super fame. But look at how the bride, if you wanted to call the bride Venus, you could call her Venus or Saturn in this chart. Venus meaning the traditional ruler or planet for bride, and Jupiter, the traditional planet for groom. In right next to Saturn too. What does that mean? That means a dead bride. And I'm sorry to say it like this, but and Saturn is death. So in the fifth house, that's a park. A dead bride in the park. And for what? Why? And look, she would be in water, which would be there. Ninth house might be off of a big road or a bridge. So, okay, so let's nail that down here. We have the bride. What else is in that house with her? The hidden enemy of this chart, Mercury. Could be two people. This is somebody who wants power. Mercury in Scorpio is also uh, someone who wants your money, somebody who has maybe a burglary background, someone who takes other people's money. So that's a possibility. She's in there in the fifth house with someone who wants maybe her inheritance or her money. But the details sometimes can be very, very subtle. And there's stress between the bride and this devil stellium of planets. Could be just, like any bride and groom where there's some, maybe money issues or just not agreeing where money should go. That's a possibility. And fifth house is a big one, guys. Family. And the point of the chart vertex in Scorpio, 29 degrees, that's a big degree. Can mean a very, it can be the cursed degree, I think. And that and BD, if you're still on, I think it's 29 and 15 is really bad Scorpio degrees. So, yeah. All right. So BD saying money, power, lust, revenge, pick a card, any card, most motives fit right in. I know because of that Scorpio. So I heard from another YouTuber, Shelly says, who said that the partner is rather sus. It's a matter of time they get the boyfriend. Interesting. So you think that there might be another guy. Yeah, it is very concerning. Yes, it is always about the money. And you should check out that story about the woman who was killed and law enforcement went undercover and they had a plainclothes policeman move in next door to the husband and suspect. And I guess it was for months, befriended him. And ultimately he he wanted her gone. He said it in his mind, it was protecting his children. So it's a whole story. I think it's in Daily Mail today. So 13 degrees is, which one is 13? Oh, yeah. 13 is military. It could also be somebody who's very angry. But because it's retrograde, it's going to go into 14 too. So you're going to have 13 and 14. And so this is potentially financial. Someone who's in financials, which he was. He's a wealth management guy. Uh, you know what I feel about that black moon Lilith right next to Jupiter there. That That's a bad sign. That is just a bad sign. And then squaring Neptune, if this is the right chart, if this is the right time, then this shows that there's going to be trouble with a personal relationship. So that's all I'm saying. So let me go over to my next chart here. Just wanted to take a look. And by the way, if you like this show, please don't forget to hit the like button. It helps me out a lot. And okay. So this is Nicola Bully's husband. Um, we got to be careful what we say. He has not been charged. We don't know anybody else who's in her life. So that's why his photo comes up a lot. We're not going to see pictures of her friends or people she works with. So, the spotlight is naturally going to be on him. And let's see, what does it say? Oh, when she first went missing, that she vanished into thin air. That's Neptune too. Neptune means to vanish. So, and there's the bench. There's 3 times that I pulled to the time. It started at 8:57. She left her house, I believe, at 8:27. But the chart that I pulled was for when her husband, Paul, gave that interview. And so he's talking. This is at around 9 p.m. and he's on the telly. Oops. All right. So the ascendant is in Libra naturally. He's talking about his mate, his marriage, and Venus is at the 18th degree, which is, the devil degree, and it's next to Neptune, which shows the wife. Remember, Venus can be the wife. The wife vanished. She disappeared. Now, I can't recall. I think this was before she was found. And you can see that the police wouldn't do a good job. You see how they squared her? They didn't do a good job at finding her, and somebody else found her. So it is reported anyway. And who found her? Somebody with a sonar, if you remember that Uranus. And we can see this from the chart I think it's right before she was found. And all that information, how would somebody get to her? Well, it would be through the sonar, from what I understand. So, very talented person named Peter, and was never given any credit from what I've heard. But correct me if I'm wrong there. Now, we have some 18s here that is troubling when Paul is speaking. 18 is the devil degree, so that's in the mix while he is talking. We've got a lot of planets in Aquarius, and Aquarius can mean divorce. Aquarius ruling the 5th house can show the split up of a family, but it can also mean the shock of a family. They're shocked that she's gone. We have Black Moon Lilith in the 10th house. So maybe somebody who's speaking to the public. I don't know. But it's Leo. There's going to be someone with some Leo characteristics. So his name was Ansel. I think, if I recall, I don't know if somebody can look it up. Ansel, I think, means, I want to say it was a warrior. So if it was Mars, and I'll give you an example. If he's Mars, which would be a warrior, he is squaring Nicola. Okay. So now also, what does this chart show? I mean, it's clear here what she was doing. She was working, so you can even see this when he is in that uh, interview on TV, that what was she doing? But the problem here is all that Aries. There's a lot of anger going on. And if I recall, let me see if it's on my other. Hold on. Is it on this one? No. Um, right here. In that chart for when he's talking, the asteroid Lie is right next to Jupiter. So, possibility that there are some lies about the wounds, or about somebody who is wounded. Jupiter with Chiron also means lots of lies and lots of wounds. So, very, very concerning there. So, if we think that there's something suspect about Nicola, well, we know that this is probably the carbon copy to Nicola. I mean, I'm going to make that leap there. And if that's the case, then both have some personal relationships that were a little bit shady potentially, and that's my opinion. So, it's pretty disconcerting. Um, let's see. Oops. Um, Right. And Sarah, the person that spotted Nicola in the river was a psychic. Peter Falding, founder, he believes, but it was it was dismissed by the police. That's right. And okay, so a psychic is going to be Neptune, and could also be the moon. And there's some Scorpio can also be a psychic too. So Heather is saying, Mars Gemini in the ninth, Val Evans, remind you of another chart we know. Yeah, exactly. Idaho. So, yeah. And Shelley, the psychic found her, I think, though, physically, wasn't it the Peter who went out after she had said the area, and he actually found her body? So, yeah, Moon and Venus at 18 degrees. It what happens when the victim is at 18 degrees? Sometimes you just wonder, like, maybe the person is perceived to be evil for that person. I mean, if you can follow that. So, all right. So we've got a lot of people listening. I hope that doesn't mean I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. Just remember, this is my opinion. I'm looking at the chart. These charts could be wrong. It's Mercury retrograde. And in any investigation, you're going to look at personal relationships no matter what. You're always going to look at the husband. You're always going to look at people that she worked with. You're going to look at her digital trail. And here's what's going to solve this case, in my opinion. And I'm going to go to the chart here. I really think that if the police can get that CCTV, there's more. They're going to get a plate number. They are going to, and let me tell you, we've got a lot of crowdsourcing going on here, international crowdsourcing, and people are going to spot cars in the CCTV. They are going to spot who's following her. Now, this is right when she left. Okay, so she's Venus in Scorpio here. Scorpio playing such a big part of, uh, you know, her timestamp at this moment. And we've got this point of Thales right here. Look at this. I mean, BD, are you looking at this? And I say BD because BD Salerno is a wonderful forensic astrologer. Please check out her book on Amazon. She was one of the first authors I ever read about astrology from. But so definitely check that out. But Barb, if you or BD, if you're on, you just have so it looks like a lot of people here. Now, sometimes it's not. I'd rather see that planets are people. These are more points, but this looks like angry. If you put all of this together, this person wants out. This person wants, this person meaning not Gaynor. Maybe it's Gaynor. I don't know. But there, Uranus is right by the ascendant. This is someone who wants independence. And I've said that before. And you've got these 3 points on Libra, which shows a relationship. It's a relationship. So, the reason I put this chart up is because it's right before she leaves. It's right before she gets to the loading dock, and then she gets into Gemini, and that's when she's Mercury. But at this point, she's at work. She's in the sixth house of work, and Virgo is ruling that house. So Mercury is still in play. It just shows. Well, let's see what's on her mind. What's on her mind? We can look at 2 things that are on her mind. Cancer, and we could also look at Sagittarius. Well, Cancer is intuition. All right. So does she have intuition about something? Is she this is something domestic. It has to do with a home. Maybe her home, I mean, it's home and family. So there's a possibility, but where's that moon? Moon is here, leaving it behind. Okay. So she's thinking about leaving something behind. Could it be the relationship? That's Libra. That's a possibility. It's always a possibility in any crime, not just this one. So then we look at Sagittarius. That's like the court. Jupiter rules that for the 8th house too. Oh, so as of around the time that she's leaving, Jupiter rules the 8th house of the killer. 8th house is a profile for somebody who, is the killer. Now we've got a lot of anger here in the 7th house. This is somebody, looks like they're successful. Look how there's a trine to part of fortune. These people are successful in what they want to do. And what they're trying what are they trying to prevent? The loss of something. You see that red line there? So there's some kind of battle here. Yet she's still at work. So could this be some type of a partnership or relationship at work? You know, it there's a possibility, but we're seeing clues both from her personal life, and we're also seeing clues that have to do with what's going on at work. So, but at the very top of the chart, look at right as she leaves Saturn, body in the water. Pisces is water. Saturn is a death. So, trining the moon. Is it trining the moon? Hold on. Trining Venus. Okay. So a female body. Hmm. I don't know. I do think that with all the 12th house there, the person is going to, um, potentially be incarcerated. I mean, 12th house is incarceration, and it just looks like she knows something that somebody did not want her to know. And that Venus in Scorpio, that really bugs me. Who is that? I wanna know. I wanna know who the dark-haired beauty is. Is there a dark-haired beauty in this? So, uh, the nodes are 22 degrees, kill or be killed. Yep, I know. 12th house, so jammed up with surprises. Sometimes the 12th house means to sleep. It's sleeping, it's alcohol, it's hidden enemies, it's secrets, it's international, far off lands. And it's rule at this moment as she is getting ready to leave. uh it's so important to see where the cusp goes into, and that's Pisces. So Neptune is so it really has to do. This is alcohol. There's a lot of alcohol that's involved. So I think, what it kind of gives it away when you see Jupiter and it's close. It's close. But there's a trine to these people right here. It's like it almost shows that they know each other, but it's not close enough. You see, it needs to be a little bit closer. And what I'm looking at is the trine. You see North Node. This is, by the way, North Node is a foreign person. So possible it's foreign to England, these people. And could be it's Aries, so could be people with weapons. There's a lot of weapons here. Um, very dangerous, very dangerous, scary. And it's not yet contact. I mean, it's not really contacting Jupiter within a few degrees. So to me, that says that it could be like an acquaintance. Um, and you know what? Maybe her husband doesn't even know that he knows these people. That's a possibility. Yeah, could be a ring, could be a drug case. Guy will be busted over money. It seems so because of all of that Taurus. Yep. And also, Aries is also the police too. So the police in the 12th house there, uh, it I think they're working undercover. I really do. Sorry if I let that out of the bag, but nobody listens to an astrologer anyway, right? I can say whatever I want to say. Um, I know. Well, Morgan, if you're interested, definitely check out Amazon. I have a book on there by Val Evans and Forensic Astrology 101. I wanted to take the opportunity to announce the brand new course that I have in January. So I'm going to put the link in the description box and you're welcome to sign up. That's in January. And of course, I do readings if you're interested in looking further in your chart. I always recommend looking at your transit progress chart. It really gives you a super good look at what you're going through right now and gives you a little bit of just some revelations, I would say. It really helps you, I think. Okay, so Christina, what are you saying here? Um, I went back and looked. The guy has a red cap on. I think it's a phone, though. She stops, and then the white van turns around and leaves. And need that license plate. This is going to really. It's it's going to depend on the community here. The 11th house is so important. And I think the community can definitely rise to the occasion, get together, see if, I mean, Saturn is in Pisces. Is it possible that a few months from now we'll see some quote unquote old video because Saturn is old, Pisces is video? Will we see video of this woman, Venus, in Scorpio, this so we're looking for a dark-haired woman on video. That's what I'm looking at. That's one of the things that I would look at. With all that Libra, though, it's also beauty. So could be, I think it's in. Is it in Donald Trump's birth chart? He has a lot of Libra. So of course he was the head of Miss Universe for years. So that can mean beauty queens and beautiful women because Moon is in Libra and it's in its fall, obviously in Libra. But it's there's something that has to do with quite a few females, and there's some industries that are involved, I think, in this scenario where they classically have really misogynist type of cultures. So I think of that when I see that. I'm not saying in her work necessarily. Um, it's an alcohol shop. Usually men work there, but I'm thinking of maybe somebody that she knows that person's work. That's a possibility. Thanks, Shelley. Uh, Definitely toy. And do I think it could be an arms ring? There's a lot of secret weapons. Let's just say that, and we see that these people are very successful too. Why? Because you've got a man here, probably a big man, and this is trining part of fortune. This is a successful person. He's done this before, and maybe he's known for whatever he's known for. But Mars is somebody who has a weapon, somebody who, and what kind of weapon? I mean, I think that, I don't think they've done the toxicology report for her. We've got so much Neptune, but nobody's going to poison her and then push her in the river. So I think, I really think that these are hidden. Uh, Chiron is hidden in the 12th, is hidden wounds. Oops. Oh no, not that one. Shoot. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, look at that. We've got hidden wounds. Neptune. Well, these are the wounds. Wounds in the water, 12th house. Trining the sun. Now remember, the sun is a co-ruler for the perpetrator. And so when you have that trining Chiron, you're looking at somebody whose face could be pockmarked, who has scars, somebody who might have red hair because of that Aries, the trine to Aries, and somebody who could have a German name, somebody who could have military tattoos. 12th house could be a tattoo on their foot. So 12th house represents feet and or just hidden tattoos. So, but Black Moon Lilith in the 5th kind of says it all to me. It says somebody in the 5th house of what. I'm not going to say it, but it's a Leo. Leo means Leo means lovers and family. So somebody down here, she doesn't know. She can't see what's going on in that 5th house as she's leaving, but they're there. And it's, so it moves to the 4th when she's on the road. So, from family to home. And 23 degrees is uh, could be a tracker. Could there have been a tracker on her? Is that possible? Um, I mean, you can kind of merge Jupiter and Uranus together. This is a very smart person. And but as of this time, if this is a partner, okay, Jupiter, look at how there's a downfall. And what is the downfall? This female. Okay. Uh, and that's in the sixth house, but yeah, yeah. This is a relationship matter, I think. I really do. I mean, we can talk about Russians and alcohol, stores and, American men all we want. But um, at the end of the day, I really think this has to do with the relationship. So the sun has cathedral yard footage. I'll have to look at that. Okay, Claire Louise, they've just busted some people who are involved in an arms ring in the UK. Interesting. Um, Lorraine, husband has a tattoo on his arm. Of course, we have to say who doesn't have a tattoo these days, right? So it would have to be with the North Node next to Chiron. It would be something that would show something Rahu related. Could even look like Rahu, which is like a horseshoe, but it could be something like a foreign symbol of some sort or something Aries. Could even be a red tattoo. I don't know if anybody has a red tattoo, but maybe it is red because he just got it. I don't know. So anyway, I think that's all I have for now. I'm going to be on over the next few days. So I hope you can join me. I'll probably give you a heads up. I may be on tonight if I have voice, and we'll take a look at a couple of other charts. I'm really interested in the updates here on this. So if you guys know anything more about Gaynor Lord, her family, her birth date, I would love to look at her chart. Speaking of which, let's look at Xana's chart tonight. I have her birth time, Xana Kernodle from the Idaho 4. And so I'm going to be on at about 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. All right. So hopefully we'll see you then and you're not too tired from these charts. Thanks again for tuning in. Remember to hit the thumbs up, and thank you so much, all of my subscribers and members, and for the super stickers. I really appreciate it. Have a good one. See you in a little bit.